And this next fight, we got another fight where we got a UFC veteran taking on a UFC debutant, Shane Young. He's had a few fights in the UFC now. Blake Bilder, this is going to be his debut coming off the Contender Series. This matchup, I don't really rate Shane Young in the same classes as Zubair Tukhugov. He's more of a lower level to mid tier fighter in the weight class, so I think that this is a much closer fight. Blake Bilder's undefeated. He's the Cage Fury or former Cage Fury champion at this point. He got a big win on the Contender Series, and he's gotten quite a few finishes. He's a dangerous guy. Shane Young recently hasn't looked the best. He's been kind of trying to find himself. He went up to 55. It didn't really work out. He is 0-2 in his last two fights, and he has been able to win against some pretty low-level competition in the UFC, but hasn't gotten that big win yet. This is going to be a win that is going to secure him his job and probably give him another chance to fight more recognizable names. So it's definitely a huge fight for Shane Young, 29 years old. He needs this win to stay in the UFC, but he's one of these guys that's taken a lot of punishment, and he got knocked out, and then his last fight, to me, he was a little bit gun-shy, so hopefully he's going to have his mentality on point, and his durability is going to be there as well for him. But on the feet, Shane Young technically is the better striker. Blake Bilder is more of a grappler. He's not really the greatest striker in my opinion. He's short, he's compact, and he's kind of shifty. He'll switch stances. He is pretty explosive, has power. I would say he has the power advantage. Throws decent combos. He'll attack the body to open up the head. Mostly punches. And his chin, though, and defense are not the greatest. I've seen him dropped quite a few times. One thing about him is he is very durable because of his cardio. He's extremely well-conditioned. You see him push a really crazy pace, and he can get dropped and recover really quickly. So that's something you have to be aware of with him. You can't expect him to get out of there early. You have to maintain your gas tank. And Shane Young, he used to be a guy that relied a lot on volume. He would come forward, work behind the jab, pull counter guys, feint a lot, throw a lot of leg kicks. And like I said, his last fight, he got knocked out against Ludwig Klein with a head kick. And his last fight, he didn't pull the trigger quite as much. And if that continues in this fight, I think he's going to struggle to win fights at the UFC level, because what makes him good is his, willingness to get into that fire, exchange, take shots to give shots, because even though he's decent at pull countering, he has the length advantage in this fight, and he should be able to use it fairly effectively. I think the leg kicks will be the best weapon for him, but he is hittable as well, and he's not necessarily the best with his defense. So Bilder, a guy that can close that gap and touch you up and has the power advantage, it's always going to be a dangerous fight for Young because he doesn't have that power to usually get guys out of there clean. And Bilder, he's the better grappler. The wrestling, I don't really know. I feel like Bilder probably has a slight edge in pure wrestling, but he's not necessarily the best wrestler for MMA. What he is good at is he's good at finding the back. He just finds the back in scrambles, on the feet, and he's pretty good at that. And when he gets to that back, he can finish the fight with rear naked choke. So Bilder is going to be looking to find any opportunity to get the back of Shane Young, a slip, flurrying on him and then circling to the back really quickly. That's his thing. And then he could jump on the back and get the hooks in really fast and look for that choke. So I think that's going to be Bilder's best avenue. I think he needs to use his striking to try to open up that back take or get a takedown if he can, just traditionally against the cage or something. But I feel like Bilder, I'm just going to roll with him here just because of the stage of the career that both these guys in. I don't like Shane Young's last couple fights, getting knocked out and then being a little bit gun-shy in his last fight. And Blake Bilder is a guy that is a comeback king, man. He can be losing the fight, come back at the win. He is very mentally tough. He comes in great shape, and he's a finisher. And this fight, Shane Young's hard to submit, so I feel like he might, in this fight, actually get a decision win, backpack him a couple rounds and get the win that way. I think Shane Young might have some success on the feet, but I think he's not going to open up as much as he should. I don't think his volume is going to be where it needs to be, and I think Bilder's going to take advantage of that by being a little bit more aggressive, using his explosiveness to get inside and eventually somehow get it to the ground. So I'm going to go with Bilder to win this fight via decision, actually.